welcome to my channel. Well, you don't see me with reviewing and talking about a lot of flipper knives and stuff because I kind of got out of that phase after getting into it fairly heavily. And one of the knife companies and knives that I liked a lot was Ganzo. And they still make knives. We tend to forget about stuff from the past because there's so many new things that come out and everything else. But this is one of the ones. This is the FH51. See if it'll focus on that. It's in D2. I really like this little knife. Now what I've been doing is the Elementum is pretty much my standard for a small, EDC knife. It's great shape, easy to use, compact. This particular one is an S35 yen, so when I got it, it was about $80. Now, this guy, I believe when I bought it, it was around $25. Now I found it on Amazon for $19.95. So they're still very inexpensive, and this particular one, I like the shape of the blade, and the little finger choil in there, and it's got a spear point to it. It's got a little harpoon action going there. It's got jimping if you need it, but the smooth part right here, for me, just is kind of like a nice area just to rest your thumb on and feel how smooth it is and ramped and everything. G10 handles, a good access, to the lock bar here. They're contoured. It doesn't look like it too much, but they are. It's not just a flat slab of, G10 there. You have they don't have recessed heads on the pocket clip, but you've got a lot of space in there. So the heads are not really going to interfere, with you being able to go down to this. It's not super deep carry, but for me, I like to have something to grab hold of, and that's why I put this lanyard on it from before. What is this gunk on here? Gunk. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because I found out that that's a vulgar word. But yeah, it's just a great little design. It's got ball bearings in there, and bumped into my hand. Comes out fairly easily, and it's just a great little knife. Great knife design. So what I try to do is knives that I've carried before and everything, this one has just gotten to be so much of a habit for me to drop into my pocket because it does everything I want, a knife to do. You can see they recessed the heads on this, a steep carry. I used to have a lanyard on it, but I found sometimes if the lanyard gets in the way, and you're going to go to flip, that it'll mess with it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword with this lanyard on here. Yeah, it helps retrieve it from the pocket and find it and pull it out and everything, but you've got to pretty much grip, keep it out of the way when you deploy the flipper. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by Ganzo or anything else, or even Civivi or anybody, but yeah, don't overlook. If you want like a decent knife to carry, and if you drop it or you lose it, look at that flip into just that little flip that I did like this, the back end of this knife here, even though it's not sharpened, is pointy enough to get you to raise a little nick there. Yeah, it's just, you don't have to worry, if you lose this thing, $20, if you lose this one, $80. Now for some people the difference between 20 and $80 is no big deal, But to me, it's a big deal. So yeah, they say they rock weld this thing to 60, plus or minus a little bit, you know. So it's got good edge retention. I think I sharpened this when I got it. After I got it, I haven't sharpened it since. And oh, it's still sharp. Sorry, bumping that. I find sometimes if I don't get the apex right on the paper when I go to cut, it looks like it's dull, but it's just, yeah, that's just paper. But I mean, really, a lot of times that's all you're using your knife for is cut. An EDC knife, a lot of times it's not going to be doing heavy-duty tasks and stuff. If it is, you should have brought a fixed blade, or you should have brought a, you know, a heavier built blade and everything. For me, I never carry usually just one knife. I usually have an EDC knife. Sometimes, always, you know, if I'm going out, a bigger knife like that Boker Kalashnikov XXL. And between the two of them, I got everything covered. And also when I'm EDCing, I usually have a Swiss Army knife on me too. So I've got, you know, small blade, medium blade, and a large blade. And if you can't cut what you need to cut with one of those options, then maybe a knife is not what you need. Maybe you need an axe or a machete. But yeah, don't overlook these, especially on a budget. They're definitely good knives. I can definitely recommend them. You find what blade shape you like and size. Now they've got another one that I'm looking at that I may actually buy this next time. It's the FH51, I believe. It's like 3 1/4 inch blade. I like a little bit more reach. You know, the EDC size like this is usually a 3-inch blade. If you look at the Elementum, as far as like cutting edge, this thing's got it. They're about equal if you take into account the curvature, you know. A drop point blade tends to be more useful overall, but a spear point or a worn clip works well for me a lot of times because you got that pointy action going on. You still have a point, you know, on these. It comes up to a pretty good point there. But yeah, just wanted to say, you know, since a lot of people are having to cut back their budgets or whatever, and you don't need to spend a lot of money to get a good knife. You know, $20. You can get a really decent knife for $20. And you know, I've got nothing to gain by telling you that this is a good knife. I mean, it doesn't benefit me in any way. I'm just passing along information there. And yeah, so there you go. Just a little semi-quickie there on the Ganzo Firebird series. I think the FH series all had D2, and some of the other ones before that were 440C. I don't mind 440C. I really, you know, I like it. It's stainless. D2 is semi-stainless. It's almost there, but it can rust. And that might make a difference to you. It's good a lot of times to have a knife where you can cut something acidic or cut something, you know, and if you forget about it, it's not going to, you know, rust out your blade or anything like that. Stainless steel is a little bit more forgiving than carbon steel. But there you go. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.